everybody, and welcome to the Rebooted Reviews. Today, I will be going over set number 70793 Skull Basher. This set contains 72 pieces, and in the United States retails for about $14.99. Of course, this price will vary by your region, country, store, etc. Right off the bat, the color scheme, it's extremely consistent, consisting of trans purple, silver, and normal purple, as well as some highlights of translucent neon reddish orange in his shoulders as well as on his legs, although it's mostly covered up from the front by the add-on. It actually does give a nice effect. It almost looks like it's glowing. Now, Skull Basher's profile does say something about, Skull Grinder's power coursing forcefully through his bones, which I guess you can interpret the slightly color scheme breaking trans orange as being that power being visible on the surface. There are, of course, breaks in the color scheme, and it's mostly back here with the, I guess you would call it the bash box instead of the gearbox, with the beige pins which are visible on the bottom and the top, and this big fat red button. And this is very similar to Dragon Bolt's function, but I don't know if the build of this function is the same because I don't have Dragon Bolt. We'll get to the function later. Now, regarding his appearance, Skull Basher definitely is meant to resemble a Minotaur, like Pyrox. See, there it is again. Brain Attack is seeping into Bionicle. And he does have horns, whereas with Pyrox they just stuck out to the side. These actually are correct, I guess you could say. He does feature two trans purple bones, which is pretty cool. And he's one of the few skull villains to feature the non-open ball joint elbows. As you can tell, they can only go like this, even though his knees are using the open ball joints. Just something interesting to point out. And his arms are kind of floppy too, so just fair warning for that. He does have the black feet, which you could see as the color scheme breaker, but I don't know. They kind of suit him. Plus, they help him keep balance as well. He does have two exposed ball joints, and he also features the standard 11 points of articulation, which I forgot to mention on the other two Skull Villain reviews I already did, which is knee and ankle, hip, wrist, elbow, shoulder, and neck. That's actually pretty much it. Let's look at those new pieces. Just like a lot of the other sets, this set features a silver recolor of the small shoulder torso. It also features a eye stalk in translucent reddish neon orange, as well as these two purple spikes, which are probably not new, but I just thought I would mention them. And finally, we have the drained golden mask of Earth. Now, while this is not a recolor, this piece does feature an exclusive print. Make of it what you will. Next up is 4 of these silver bone pieces. Also featured is the most amount of these shoulder pad pieces, and there's 4 of these in gunmetal gray. Quite a lot of these. They're almost like a spookier evolution from the Hero Factory bulbous armor plate. And there's the rib cage piece in trans purple. Next up are his axe blades. I really like the detailing. You're supposed to be able to use these to pull off masks. And finally we have the skull bowl mask. Pretty small. It looks a bit more bestial than the warrior/grinder mask. It's very fitting. That's about it for those, so let's continue on with the rest of the review. Let's move on to the functions. Now, the first of these functions is if you press this button on his back, and making sure the horns don't get in the way. His arms will bash. Kind of see how that works. Now, he doesn't always bash the same, and occasionally the ends of his weapons will get stuck on his armor. So, you know, this is a pretty fun function, and if you're happy and you know it, you can bash your hands, as long as your weapons don't get stuck together. Speaking of the weapons, Skull Basher can use his weapons on Onua, and what he can do is he can reach up and he can take Onua's mask, like so, and he can drain its elemental power by putting it on. And this looks kind of interesting because it carries the purple, but there's also that gold, and it just gives kind of this weird look. Anyway, what you can always do is allow Onua to reclaim his mask either by flicking the horns or just by pressing the eye stalk. Any way you want to do it, and then Onua can reclaim his mask and restore its power. Speaking of Onua, Onua is a bit taller than Skull Basher. Their legs are the same height, but their shoulders aren't the same height, and Onua's head is higher as well. So Skull Basher might have a little bit of trouble grabbing his mask. In the animations, it shows him literally butting heads with Onua and getting his mask that way. Anyway, one function I completely forgot about in the other Skull Villain reviews is he can combine with 70792 Skull Slicer and 70791 Skull Warrior to form a combo model. Now, the official name for this combo model on the website, at least for Skull Basher, is listed as Skull Basher Power Up, but I'm personally going to call it the Skull Basher Combo Model, and same naming scheme goes for the one with Kulta. So, join me next time when I combine together these three sets to form that Skull Basher Combo Model. Remember to like or dislike, leave some constructive criticism in the comments below. It's always welcome. If you want to see more reviews and a few other Bionicle and occasionally Hero Factory related skits and stuff, why not subscribe? You know, it can't hurt, and plus, it's YouTube. You can unsubscribe at any time if you decide that you don't like our content. And if you really like our channel, you can share our channel to get the word out about it. And I will see you guys later. Adios.